I'm Annie Goldner, and I live in Bend, Oregon. I moved here about 4 years, no, sorry, 24 years ago from the East Coast, New York City. Yeah, I want people to know why they're listening to me and why I'm doing this, because it's not easy to talk about the death of my son. When a person loses someone as precious in life and the lives of family and community, as Adam was, we humans go immediately to the belief that the tragic loss has to mean something. I hope what I am saying now will make a difference in the lives of the people who are listening. I hope that it changes their awareness about tragedies that happen on our highways, on our streets. Yeah, Adam was soon to turn 40 years old. He was an amazing son, a loyal and generous friend, a patient and generous husband, a loving and faithful sibling to his two half brothers and two half sisters, who you see in the picture on the left. This picture was taken at his wedding in 2016. That's why people are looking so happy, which we were. He freely gave much of himself, and he had obvious joy in the giving. He lived large and he made a difference in everyone's life that he met and wherever he was present. And he was a presence always, but very humble and very kind to everyone. I like that picture that you're looking at because when his father and I were married, I brought two children to the marriage and he brought two children. And then 5 years later, we had Adam join us, and the four older brothers and sisters adored him. So if anyone was raised with a lot of love, Adam was, but it never spoiled him. He just embraced it and grew from that, and then later shared that. I wanted to tell you that he always made all of us smile when he said, this was his saying, life is beautiful. He was smart and artistic. He was passionate about telemark skiing, backcountry skiing, and road biking. He was an active member of Transportation Alternatives and working with his hands in hobby construction and a commercial construction project manager. He was amazing. He was always learning, always changing, always curious. I was very proud of him. Yes, that brings us to the second picture on top, which was taken the day that he was killed. I was visiting Adam and his family in Brooklyn for a week, and on May 1st, 2023, he and I took the little girls, who were 3 and 5, to school that morning. I took the photo. That photo is about 2.5 hours before he was killed. We walked back to his house. It was a beautiful morning. I remember it so well and so much joy. And then Adam unexpectedly told me, I need to bike to the store for a few things, but I'll be back before you leave for the airport. It was the day I was to leave for the airport. So I said, all right. And the last thing I said to him as he left the house was, please be safe and I'll see you very soon. And 90 minutes later, we received the call from the accident scene that he was in a bike lane coming back from the store, and the next to him was a large, long flatbed truck loaded with concrete barriers for a highway, and he was a mile from his house, and this truck turned right in front of him, pulled him underneath the chassis, and the rear wheel rode over his pelvis and destroyed his blood supply to his body. He was alive for a small amount of time, The ambulance came. His wife was able to get to him while he was still on the ground, and he was taken to the hospital where he had two surgeries and 60 pints of blood in the efforts to save him. But he was pronounced dead in the ICU 6 hours later, and his wife and I were at his bedside. While you're still showing the photo, I wanted to also point out the photo on the bottom was taken at Easter time, about 3 weeks before the accident. And those are his precious little girls who will not have them in their life. Because Adam was a committed person. When he believed in something, he always followed through, and he did it with gusto and with perseverance and with energy and commitment. And he shared that with his family. And his wife also felt the same. They were passionate about staying in Brooklyn, city life, and they were passionate about using bicycle transportation or public transportation. Adam never owned a car, and he was almost 40 years old. For long trips, he would rent a car for the family, but every day was either walk to where you're going or take public transportation or take your bike. It's a very freeing way to exist in a city. And it was important, actually, the day that Adam died, that Frederique was able to jump on her bike because she never would have made it to the accident in time to see him when he was still conscious. In fact, they would take their little baby girls when they were even smaller in that carrier that was behind the bike that was crushed by the truck that had groceries in it that day. And the pain of that loss of Adam, we talk about it now, and we'll always talk about it. It part of your life forever. And the moment of a driver's inattention to a biker riding next to them was the cause of the forever pain of loss and trauma. Life is so fragile, excuse me, and the tragic loss of a loved one can happen in a moment. It took 3 seconds for Adam to be run over by the truck. 3 seconds. And your life changes forever. And it isn't just our lives, it's the driver. He was 18 years old. I'm sure his life has changed forever, his family's life. Well, lives lost because of a driver or biker's inattention, either one, can change a loved one, a family, a community forever. Motor vehicles are lethal weapons that can cripple or kill people of all ages and all backgrounds. Motor vehicles can be life takers of the unprotected on our streets and sidewalks. It's very important to remember that. Adam, when I was with him and the little girls and strollers, I would be pushing a stroller and he'd constantly remind me, Mom, keep the stroller away from the corner. Drivers can come over the curb and hit them. You just cannot be aware enough when you are out there near motor vehicles. And as a pedestrian, a biker, or the driver of such a vehicle, don't ever take it for granted. The group of us parents who have lost children, of couples who have lost their spouses because of being in vehicular incidents of tragedies in the streets, we try not to say accidents because there are no accidents. It's an error on someone's part, and we just have to be careful not to err. Well, that he was so unique and so precious, and he was so conscious about his own life. He chose a large life with lots of people and giving and activity, and now he's gone from all of us forever. There will never be an Adam again. Remember that his little girls, who are 3 and 5, will grow up without a father, and he was one of the best fathers I have ever known. He was so loving and patient with them and taught them so much. He taught them to bike. He taught them to ski. He was all about the joy of his little girls. And the driver kills someone because of a moment of poor judgment. The heartache goes on long after the street is cleared of the memory of this bloody tragedy. The result of Adam's death seems to me like if you're at by the edge of a lake and you drop in a large boulder and in a deep lake and it ripples, and so there's ripples of sorrow and loss extending out to so many people, and it echoes on forever. And I cherish the past memories, but most importantly, I ache for the future now without Adam in our lives. Please remember this because I don't ever want this to happen to anyone.